Hi everyone, in this video we will learn about inversion of temperature and the types of temperature inversion. So let's get started. Now generally we know that the temperature declines or decreases with increase in height till the upper limit of tropopause. It decreases at the rate of 6.5 degrees Celsius for every 1 kilometer of ascent. This is called normal lapse rate, or it is also termed as vertical temperature gradient. But there are certain conditions in which the temperature does not decline with increasing height, but rather it increases. In other words, in certain conditions, the temperature increases with increase in height. This situation is known as inversion of temperature. The term inversion means opposite to the normal, since normal is the fall in temperature with altitude, but under inversion it rises with increasing height. One interesting thing to note here is that the inversion of temperature takes place in certain conditions. The three important ideal conditions for temperature inversion are: the first one is that there has to be long and cool nights so that the earth can radiate the received solar energy. The second one is that there has to be clear sky so that the terrestrial radiation can escape easily. And the third one is that there has to be calm and stable air so that the vertical motion of the air is absent. So these are the three important conditions which must prevail to experience the inversion of temperature. Now let's see the types of temperature inversion. So generally there are four types of inversion, which includes ground inversion, valley inversion, subsidence inversion, and the frontal inversion. First let's take the ground inversion. So the ground inversion takes place when the surface of the earth is cooled rapidly by the terrestrial radiation of the earth under the clear sky. In this way, the temperature above the ground becomes warmer as compared to the temperature near the ground. So when someone goes up, he or she will feel the increase in temperature with increase in height. Ground inversion is very common in the areas of high latitudes, and in winter it is common in the plain areas, even in the tropical regions. Now the valley inversion takes place on the rolling topography, particularly in the hilly areas. In valley inversion, what happens is that during night the mountain slopes becomes cool, and the air which comes in contact with the slopes of the mountains also gets cool. Now we know that the cool air is heavier, hence it sinks down along the slope of the mountains and accumulates in the bottom of the valley. The sinking cold air pushes the warm air of the valley, thus the warm air rises. In this way the inversion of temperature is experienced. Now the third one is subsidence inversion. So this type of inversion takes place mostly in the subtropical high pressure belts or in the leeward side of the mountains where the air subsides. Now we know that when the air subsides or descends from above, its temperature increases at the rate of about 10 degrees Celsius for every 1 kilometer. Remember, I said the temperature increases, not decreases. Now in subsidence inversion, the subsiding air gets warmed while the lower pre-existing air is comparatively cooler. Therefore, the lower level air seems to be cooler than the plunging air from above. Thus, if a person goes from the earth's surface to the higher in the sky, then he or she will say that the temperature is gradually increasing with increase in height. So this type of inversion is called subsidence inversion. Anyways, the last type of inversion is called frontal inversion. So as you can easily figure out from its name that this type of inversion of temperature takes place under the frontal formation of two different air masses. When the cold and heavier air mass collides with the warm and light air mass, the warm air is lifted up. Thus the temperature near the surface is low because of cold air mass, and when you go up, the temperature increases because of the warm air mass above. However, you must not forget that the inversion of temperature is usually of short duration. It may last for few hours, but after that the normal lapse rate or the general trend of decrease in temperature with increase in height starts. So with this we have come to the end of this video. If you like it, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.